Welcome to Inside the Newsroom. I'm Gyllenhaal, the Herald's executive editor. In the past week, a lot of readers have had questions about the reporters and photographers covering the story in Haiti who've worked pretty much around the clock and under difficult circumstances to report on this tragedy. Let me start by saying that more than any other assignment in decades of being in war zones and natural disasters, the 10 reporters and photographers there are finding this to be much more than a news story. Some of that is because of the deep connections many of them have to a region that's now ravaged. Our longtime Haiti reporter, Jackie Charles, for instance, has had dozens of relatives in Haiti from whom she hadn't heard for those first several days. I finally tracked them down, she said. There are a few cousins I haven't heard from, but most of the family I have talked to, and they're okay. You know, she said, the first questions that people ask you now aren't how you're doing or anything, it's how many people did you lose? There is also the sheer weight of trying to make sense of such immense tragedy. Quote, even in a war, there's some kind of order, said El Nuevo Herald reporter Luis Felipe Lopez, a veteran war correspondent. This was absolute chaos, anarchy. Added Trenton Daniels, who's both lived in Haiti and covered the country for years, it's just heartbreaking, he said. Reporter Frances Robles talked about the day she went to the morgue with photographers Pat Farrell and Jose Iglesias. Quoting, we knew it wasn't going to be pretty, she said, but it was something that nobody expected, a block-long pile of bodies, babies, grown-ups, women, just tossed there. I've never seen a photographer put his camera down, but there are moments when you just cannot shoot. It took most of the first week to gradually equip Herald photographers and reporters who rushed to Port-au-Prince last week. Some had so little notice that they were still dressed in business clothes and street shoes when they arrived. Nobody had supplies equal to an event that destroys so much of the city. They slept outside on the ground and struggled to find food and water. They had to tap car batteries for power and file their notes slowly by clicking out sentences on text messages. They ran out of first gas and then water. And although the conditions were not good, nobody voiced any concerns. When asked who was ready to return home after a week, nobody wanted to leave. Over the weekend, the first will begin to come back and others will take their places. Only on their way home did some of our staff members talk directly about the impact of this story on them. Columnist Fred Grimm said that the pace of the days and the fatigue at night made it hard to even think about what they were doing. You're just too tired to dream, he said. That was probably a blessing. Back home, it may be different. The reconstruction of Haiti will take a long time, and the Herald is setting up a bureau from which to work in the coming months, as well as beats in South Florida, where so much of this story will also be playing out. We thank you for your emails and phone calls and letters, and particularly this week for your huge reaction to this startling story, including so many ideas and suggestions. And as always, we thank you for reading the Herald and for spending time here on MiamiHerald.com.